In the early 13th century, the Indian subcontinent stood at the edge of transformation. Kingdoms rose and fell across the Gangetic plains. Trade flourished along ancient routes. Temples pierced the sky. But from the mountains of the northwest, a force was gathering, one that would reshape the destiny of an entire civilization. This is the story of the Mamluk Dynasty, the slave kings who built an empire. In 1192, Muhammad of Ghor defeated Prithviraj Chauhan at the Second Battle of Tarain, a clash that echoed through centuries. Muhammad had no desire to rule these lands himself. He entrusted his conquests to his most capable generals. One of them was a slave general, Qutb-ud-din Aibak. Born in Turkestan, sold into bondage as a child, he rose through sheer ability to become Muhammad of Ghor's most trusted commander. When Muhammad was assassinated in 1206, Aibak seized the moment. He declared himself Sultan of Delhi, founding what history would call the Mamluk Dynasty, the slave dynasty. A kingdom born not from royal blood, but from iron will. His reign was brief, just 4 years, but he set the foundation of an empire that would endure for nearly a century. Aibak's greatest legacy was not written in battles, but carved in stone. In 1199, he commissioned the Qutb Minar, a tower of victory soaring 73 meters into the Delhi sky. Its red sandstone walls were inscribed with verses from the Quran, its fluted columns unlike anything the subcontinent had seen. It was a statement, a new power had arrived, and it intended to stay. Aibak died in 1210, killed in a polo accident, of all things. After a brief power struggle, his son-in-law Shams-ud-din Iltutmish claimed the throne. If Aibak planted the seed, Iltutmish grew the tree. He was a brilliant administrator who transformed a fragile military conquest into a functioning state. He introduced the silver tanka and copper jital, giving Delhi its first standardized currency. He divided the empire into iktas, provincial units governed by loyal nobles. And critically, he secured recognition from the Abbasid Caliph in Baghdad, legitimizing his rule in the eyes of the Islamic world. But Iltutmish had created something dangerous alongside his empire, the Corps of 40. These were his handpicked Turkish slave nobles, 40 men elevated from bondage to become governors, generals, and ministers. They commanded the provinces, controlled the armies, and filled every seat of real power in the Sultanate. Iltutmish needed them, no sultan could rule alone across such vast territory. But the 40 answered to no law but their own ambition. They saw themselves not as servants of the throne, but as its collective owners. They chose who sat upon it. They decided who fell from it. In their minds, the Sultan ruled at their pleasure. This was the fatal flaw Iltutmish built into his own empire, a circle of kingmakers who would become king-breakers. Every sultan who followed would either bend to the 40, or be broken by them. Iltutmish did something unprecedented before his death in 1236. Passing over his sons, he nominated his daughter Razia as successor. Razia ascended the throne, the first and only woman to rule the Delhi Sultanate. She discarded the veil, held open court, led armies into battle personally, and dispensed justice from the saddle of her horse. She was, by all accounts, a formidable ruler. But the Turkish nobles, the 40, could not stomach a woman commanding them. After just 4 years, they conspired against her. In 1240, fleeing a rebellion, Razia Sultana was killed. Her reign was a lightning flash, brief, brilliant, and extinguished by the very men who should have served her. The empire Iltutmish had built was being hollowed from within. The nobles feasted while the frontiers crumbled. Delhi needed a strong hand. It would find one in the most unlikely of places. Ghiyas-ud-din Balban had served as regent for 20 years before officially claiming the throne in 1266. He understood power as few others did. A former slave himself, he knew that the Turkish nobles who had destroyed Razia could destroy anyone. So he destroyed them first. Balban dismantled the 40 nobles with calculated ruthlessness. He created a vast spy network that reached into every corner of the empire. His philosophy was simple: the Sultan must be feared, for fear alone holds an empire together. Balban's iron fist was not merely ceremonial. The Mawati rebels who had terrorized the roads around Delhi were hunted down and annihilated. The forests they hid in were burned. The Mongols, who had been raiding the northwestern frontier with increasing boldness, were met with a reorganized and battle-hardened army. Balban built a line of fortifications along the frontier, garrisoned them with Afghan and Turkish warriors, and appointed his own son Prince Muhammad to guard the border. The message to the Mongols was clear: this far, and no further. The Mongol threat was existential. These were the heirs of Genghis Khan, the force that had obliterated Baghdad, ended the Abbasid Caliphate, and turned the cities of Central Asia to ash. Delhi was next on their horizon. In 1285, Prince Muhammad fell in battle against the Mongol horde at Multan. Balban, the Iron Sultan who had never shown weakness, was shattered. He never recovered from his son's death. Within 2 years, Balban himself was dead, and with him died the last strong hand of the Mamluk dynasty. After Balban's death in 1287, the dynasty stumbled toward its end. His grandson took the throne, a young man more interested in pleasure than power. The nobles circled once more. In 1290, Jalaluddin Khalji, a veteran Afghan commander, marched into Delhi and ended the Mamluk dynasty forever. Today, the Qutb Minar still stands, a 73-meter testament to what slaves could build when given the chance to rule. They proved that power need not flow from blood, that merit, will, and ruthlessness could forge a kingdom from nothing. Their story is not one of royal inheritance. It is a story of ambition unchained. Of slaves who became sultans. Of an empire built not from legacy, but from dust.